And now joining us in studio, you've heard him on our radio show recently, and of course you've seen him on the American Dream, financial advisor with Illumination Wealth, Mr. Matt Reinke. Good to have you here, man.
Good to be here.
It's a lot of volatility this year, election season, Janet Yellen raising rates, global issues, a lot to sort through here. But unfortunately, recently we had another terrorist attack. The market tends to react pretty, well, it's already volatile, right? But it enhances the volatility, I guess you would say. How do we position ourselves? How do we navigate our market when these things are happening?
Yeah, I mean, knowing what just happened recently, the recent reaction has been pretty muted.
It hasn't it. That's what's interesting about it as well. Is it's almost like are we starting to accept this as being the norm? Is that what's happening?
And I think part of it is just what cycle is the market in to begin with? And
yeah.
I want to look at history. Like, what's the market done over other geopolitical events or crises or terrorist attacks that have happened in the past? I mean, when JFK was assassinated, something that, not along the same lines, but something similar.
Yeah.
The day the market opened, after that assassination, the market was up 4.5%. 9/11, within 2 months, the market recouped all of its losses that happened after 9/11. So in many of these times, there might be some short-term negative reaction, but the market seems to bounce back soon thereafter. And so you don't always know what's going to happen, and these things might happen now. There might be another terrorist attack down the road at some point, but it still pays to be mindful of that long-term plan.
Well, hopefully that's not what causes the spiraling out of control of the market is another terrorist attack, but it just seems like it's a matter of time. When you see that volatility, though, and you see the market go up and down, right? How do you advise clients in those markets? Because it would think, the expression goes buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
So that volatility could lead to some opportunity, right? Where you're buying certain stocks and investments on a cheaper ratio, right?
Exactly. Like, volatility creates opportunity.
Yeah.
It creates opportunity in the real estate market when things go low. If you have the cash available, that's when people have the ability to buy. And it's the same thing in your investment portfolio. When things have been beaten up and things are cheap, that's the time to be taking advantage. You can't be paralyzed by fear, which most people do. So these differences between what's doing well, what's not doing well, actually creates good
I just feel like
opportunities.
2008 is not that distant of a memory, right? I think people are still kind of recovering from that. People lost their homes, so the emotional damage was very real, not to mention the portfolio. We had a big argument on the radio show recently, not you and I, but we were discussing with other people that are on the show about who's going to be, not who's going to be president, but whoever is going to be president, what that might mean for the actual marketplace. What does it matter to you? I mean, you're out there giving advice to people on the day-to-day. If it's Trump versus Sanders, I mean, these are very different guys, versus Cruz, does it matter?
At the end of the day, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
There's so much other bureaucracy and red tape than just the president and the direction that his authority brings, whether it's Congress and the Senate. There's a lot that has to happen. And for the president to make changes, a lot of time is going to go by before anything actually gets implemented. And you would think when Obama became president, everyone thought he'd be terrible for the economy and the stock market. And the market's done really well under his watch. And the economy has improved under his watch, maybe to the degree that people want, not necessarily.
Yeah.
But sometimes things are counterintuitive, that the good guy for the market ends up not being good for the market.
We also have accumulated a ton of debt. That's what's concerning for me on, even if the stock market is up, there's a difference between the market and the economy. And when you have an approaching $19 trillion debt, it's shaky. Median incomes are down. So
yes,
all of it is a Rubik's Cube. But I think, a really good takeaway for our audience here is that I don't want to just talk in circles. It's, we're approaching April. It's tax time. I mean, you should have been looking at it before, but you had one of your tax planning attorneys on here before. Give us some good advice on that front, because with lowering your taxes, whether the market goes up or down, or no matter who's president, if you can lower your tax liability and have a smarter strategy there, that's always going to win.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's still opportunities to make IRA contributions for you to get an immediate tax deduction right now. If somebody has an HSA through work, perhaps your employee has a medical plan through work that has an HSA associated with it. You may have not contributed through your employer HSA-based plan, but you can still open your HSA outside of that employer's plan and make a contribution. For a family, that's $6,750 in 2016. 2015, it's $6,650. So that money is potentially triple tax-free. It saves you taxes today. The money can be invested and grow and earn, and then you can take that money out tax-free down the road for medical expenses, and you know we're all gonna have them, so it could be a great account for just about anybody.
All right, Matt Rinke, Illumination Wealth, great guy to reach out to if you need to get some financial advice, and that's really what all this is about. It's interesting to talk about this stuff. There's a lot of commentary around it, but empowering you with real advice, things that you can do today, that's what I'm really here to do. So hope you got some great information there. Now, coming up next, the San Diego is America's finest city, but it's also a military town. Joining us in studio, Daniel Lehman. He hosts a radio show called Military Mondays on KCBQ. Soon, he's going to be co-hosting a show with me called Operation American Dream, and he's a savvy guy when it comes to the financial and real estate market. Joining us in studio next, Daniel Lehman.